This is Eric Mwathe for the weekend of October 19th, 2013. We are looking at markets here the market had a very nice week. Nasdaq moving up 3.23%. Let's take a look at what the Dow gained for the week. The Dow was up 1.107%. S&P 500 closed the week up about 2.4%. Very nice up week. I'm gonna have some stock picks at the end of this video, so check those out. And just to remind you, here are some of the stock picks from the previous week's market analysis weekend video. We had Morgan Stanley as a buy. It was up about 6% this week. Also, we had this one here was a pick for us a week ago from the weekend video. It's had a nice move, 14%. Another sample here is SNDK, which we picked last weekend's video, and you see it's up about 10%. And then we had Solar City, actually from about two weekends ago, when it broke out, I think somewhere about here. It's gained about a good 50% over the last 2 weeks. And also we had IBM as a short over the last weekend or so during the weekend analysis, and IBM has been down about 6-7% since then. So check out the stock picks at the tail end of this video. So let's go back to the market here. We see the Nasdaq. Wow, I mean, how can you not be impressed? Nice gain here, just scary good. This is all I can say. This market, ever since the Nasdaq bounced off this 10-week moving average there, it also held support at this breakout level. So that level held, this market just came back in full force, closing at multi-year highs. The RSI is scary strong. So the market, there's nothing to fault this market at this point. This thing could go as high as it wants to go. And what's really interesting is this 4 weeks period here, where the market had back to back gains after breaking out, was probably a tale of how strong this market is. So we had almost 4 or 5 weeks positive closes above the weekly breakout, and that just shows you how strong this market is. Who knows how far it's gonna go. If we take a look at the Nasdaq daily, the only thing that I could see trouble here is every time we've had this small move, like we had a small move down here, came from this RSI point here. We had another small down move here from these highs. This corresponds with this RSI break there. We had a small pullback here, corresponds to the break of that trend line there. So we also have RSI top lines here. So that's the only thing. So if the market rolls over here, then this is an area where it would lead to a shallow pullback or a pullback of some sorts. Also, don't forget, now we are above this channel here. What that means is just this market is violating all channels and it could move higher. Having said that, I'm just going to repeat myself here and say this is an area where the market could stall somewhere here, where it's been stalling recently with that stall there. That high was met with a stall there and a pullback. Recent pullback was from this break point here. So if we roll over here and confirmed RSI top lines, this market could conceivably pull back from current levels. If we take a look at the Dow weekly, now the Dow is a laggard at this current point, but we go back to this ever since the market held support here. These lows have held a couple of weeks. Also happened to be the 33-week moving average, somewhere around there. So this level of support held there, that held, and that held. Now we are back above that 10-week moving average, and on the RSI, I spoke about this black line which connects the lows there and that low and this low here and here. This line has been support going back to the lows of 2011 summer, and you see that now we seem to have held this level here. This was support, support here. So who knows if this market also pushes and breaks out to new highs, just like the Dow and the S&P 500. If you take a look at the transports, they close at scary breakout levels here. Fresh weekly breakout, very nice looking chart. This comes from a couple weeks ago, nice support at the 10-week moving average. We have also what looks like a breakout of the weekly RSI, which seemed to have could have been resistance, but now we're above these resistance lines. So this square here shows a breakout. So this market could do whatever it wants. It can move higher. Why not? Because now we are breaking out. So very scary strong there. The transports from a daily view, you see that now, if you take the highs on the price there and that level, draw a straight line, you see this resistance point, which was led to a shallow pullback here. And so now we're in this general area here. Who knows whether we continue pushing high, but this could also be, again, on the daily, you start seeing signs, possibility of a market stall, possibly because we are at this level here. So maybe this could turn out to be a resistance level. On my RSI on the daily, just like the Dow transports, the Dow and the Nasdaq, you see that this could be a level of resistance here. This level I'm showing with the shaded there, that area, because this point there was the high there. This double top here corresponds to these tops here, and then recently this top was this top here. So if we stall here again, then we might have a market that could have a stop there, and could, who knows whether that's going to be a major high, but at least that could be a reason for this market to pull back on the dailies. If you take a look at the S&P 500 weekly, it's a very good looking breakout here again, weekly breakout. One could even argue that there was, looks like a cup handle and a breakout. So very strong looking chart. You also see that the RSI ended the week in what looks like a breakout mode there. That square there shows a breakout above this RSI resistance level. So that's a breakout there. This very strong. And all this just because the S&P 500 did manage to find support recently at the 10-week moving average and now gathered enough energy to blast to new highs. If we take a look at the daily, and you see it's the same scenario as the Dow transports and the Nasdaq is here on the RSIs, where we could, this break here was the highs there. We broke down there, which was that high. We broke down here recently, which was this high. So if we stall here, then this is going to be a high. Don't forget that this is also a level where you have these top lines on the daily price channel. So that could be an area of resistance, but the market looks very, very, very strong. If you take a look at the S&P monthly, you see that the RSI is still above this level here. So you never know how high a market can go. The last time we were looking like this on the RSIs was here. So it's late 06 and into 07. That was enough to push this market in this rally here. So this being a monthly chart, this move here on the RSI could suggest there's a possibility it could move higher. You cannot stop a market that is trading with the RSI above 69.10. Now if we take a look at some world markets, let's take a look at Brazil here. Now Brazil managed to come back above this 50, it's back above the 50-day moving average, back above the 200-day moving average after this nasty sell-off here. It's back above the moving averages. Recent breakout here seems to be stalling, but not that bad. It's still trading above the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. So that is good. If we take a look at Brazil from a weekly standpoint, we see that it is short-term moving out of this channel here on the weekly RSI. We have the possibility of a crossover between the 10-week and the 33-week moving average there. So that could be bullish. The thing I wonder here is whether this is going to be a stall point here on the RSI. It's been holding this market down. This area here has been holding this market down going back to this point here. So who knows? Let me show this. That area there corresponds to that high. That RSI breakpoint connects to that high. that connects to that high here, connects to that high there, and so we are back to this general area. If we stall here, that's going to be a short-term high. If I take a look at the European markets here with the French market, you see that they also closed at multi-year highs there, if not all-time highs on the daily. Problem is, you see that this is an area where you'd expect daily resistance, even though that looks good on the daily with the price breakout. The weekly looks way, way, way interesting here. Take a look at the weekly for the French market. Very powerful, absolutely powerful looking breakout there. And as long as it's above this level here, that could continue pushing higher. What's not to like there? If you take a look at the German market, very nice weekly breakout, very nice breakout there. One wonders whether we are going to stall on the RSI here, which has been stall point, and I don't want to keep repeating the point, but this has been stall point there, but a very nice breakout. Let's take a look at the London market, the weekly. You see that this one is slightly lagging. It looks like the Dow, so not the most powerful chart. Let's take a look at Asian market here. Let's take a look at Hong Kong. Has yet to break out above the stop lines here, yet to break out. So in a big wedge here, big wedge on a daily chart, very big wedge. One way or the other, we could break out or break down. If we take a look at, let's take a look at China here on the weekly. Chinese market seems to be, take the high there on the weekly, that high, draw a straight line. We seem to be bumping heads with this resistance level here. Also, this could be a double top on the weekly. As far as the Chinese market is concerned, we'll see. If we take a look at the Kospi or the Korean market, very nice breakout above this congestion period here. So this has been a consolidation period, and we see we ended the week with a very nice push there. So breaking out of that range, that's how you build to new highs. So not too shabby. If we take a look at Indian market here, this market has been very crazy volatile. Take a look at this moves on the weekly from here, 1750, now at 21. That's a major reversal, and now breaking out of this range here. So even the Indian market is breaking out, as you can see, above this level here, which has been congestion period. So now trading here, that's a breakout for you. We'll see how far it goes. Let's take a look at Japan here quickly. And you see Japan is still digesting this big move from here, 8,500 all the way to 1600 in about a couple of months. So we're digesting this period here. It hasn't broken out like the Dow or like the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, but it's not a bad looking chart. I mean, just looks like it's forming a base, could break out down the road. So that's how world markets look. Let's take a look at Australia here, and you see that it also ended with a breakout to new multi-year highs, but resistance could come in this general area on the RSI here. So that's an area to watch. Now if we take a look at some of the sectors of the market, let's begin with the banking index here, the BKX. And ever since it found support here at the 33-week moving average, it's had a nice snapback rally the last 2-3 weeks, back above the 10-week moving average, which is very nice. And if we take a look at the daily, you see that the last time we had a pullback, which is this pullback from here to here, comes from this break of this RSI level there. So that's what began this pullback. So we are back at that level here, right there, which could also suggest that this could be an area of potential resistance, something we have to watch at the beginning of the week. If this stalls here, then that's going to be probably a sign that we might see another pullback. How big that pullback is, honestly, I do not know. If you take a look at the IYR, or the real estate. See that we had a nice move here, the RSI back above the 10-week, back above the 33-week moving average. So it's trying to hold after this big sell-off here on the weekly, the real estate market. The thing that I'm watching here is for the weekly, because previously RSI stalled right there, which happens to be, so that stall point was right here, which is this high there. So we are back at that level. The possibility that this could be a high is possible. If we take a look at the daily, you see why I say that is because we broke down here right there, which is this high there, and this massive sell-off. And so we've generally hit this area a couple times there, which was that high. We hit that RSI level there, which was this high, and a shallow pullback. So we are back in this general area. If we stall here, then that's going to denote that we move lower. But it's encouraging here because we see we above this breakout point here, above those highs, and back above the 200-day moving average. So maybe it's trying to fix itself. The thing I'm watching here is to see whether the RSI gives us a turnaround signal to the downside here. But you can also argue that the fact that it's trading above this buy point here, we remove that, breaking above these short-term highs there, that breakout, and also back above the 200-day moving average is encouraging. If you take a look at the XHB, you see a different looking chart here, because you see that it's back below this, and it had a down week, back below the 10-week moving average. I don't know what it's trying to do here. So not unlike the IYR, this one seems slightly weaker. If you take a look at the XHB from a daily chart, you see that it's trading in this general area where you have an upward trending 200-day moving average and a downward trending 50-day moving average. If you take a look at the SOX, closing at a multi-year high here, very nice move, just like the Nasdaq. So that's very good, very encouraging for bulls. Now we come back to the daily and we see a recurring theme here, which is this general area on the RSI has been stalling this market. As you can see, the previous stall, this RSI stall point here was this high there, and so we are back in this general area. For this market to really power and steam ahead, it needs to blast above this level. So we'll see whether this is going to stall the market here, or a blast is going to ensue, pushing this market even farther. So that concludes the free part of the video. If you want to watch the rest of it, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be discussing commodities, and also, like I say, we're going to have the weekend stock picks, stocks that are breaking out and look good for the coming week. So if you want to enjoy the rest of the video, go ahead and subscribe. For subscribers, let's move along here.